Hey y'all, what the f? It's T bitches. Yes, we are back up in this gig. This year is almost over. This year is almost over. Which means it's my favorite part of the year. My favorite part of the year, honestly, is to wrap up all the things that happened. But because this year ending is so special and it's wrapping up a decade. Wow, I feel elderly. 10 years ago, I was 15. If 15-year-old me could see me now, and if you could see 15-year-old Zachary.
What's up, internet peoples? I got one question for you guys. As you all know, I go back to school on Tuesday. You guys don't know that. What the hell would I say that for?
So as I was watching my old videos and thinking about the past, I was like, yo, we have gotten some phenomenal music this decade. So I wanna go through and see the best albums, in my opinion. And I want you to let me know in the comments below if you guys think my opinion is kind of correct. And if I miss some albums, don't be afraid to let me know in the comments below. Let me get the formalities out the way if you don't know who I bees. My name is Zach Campbell. Nice to meet you, poos. Go ahead. Not poos. Go ahead and subscribe and be a part of the tired ass army. We would love to have you around here. Now, we're not shy of our opinion around here, so if that's you, go ahead and subscribe. We would love to have you. Also, if you'd like to see exclusive content and support the channel, please become a tired ass member. The link is in the description below. I got my list right here. Let's get into this gig, bitch. Let's see. Best albums of the decade. Let's go. I got like at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I got 33 albums on here. My list has no particular rating, right? Or no particular order. But the first person I wrote on my list is Nicki Minaj, Pink Print. Absolutely. This has to be one of the best female rap albums, at least to me, you know, not even just this decade, like almost ever. Besides Missy Elliott's 2005 Cookbook, that, my dear, was an album. Oh, what an album. You got All Things Go, you got I Lies, you got The Crying Game, you got Feeling Myself. This album has Feeling Myself with Beyonce. This is already a classic album. What? What are you talking about? Why is this up for any debate?
I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my...
Male and female makes no difference, I stop for wow. World, stop. Carry on. So yes, Pink Print by Nicki Minaj. What an album. What an album. My next album on my list is Miley Cyrus Bangers. Girl! This album is like the definition of this decade to me. You know? We got We Can't Stop, Adore You. You got Wrecking Ball. You got My Darling. You got Love Money. You got F You. I used to love this song. Let us for you. SMS Bangers with Britney Spears. Like, this album was iconic. Oh, Bangers was an album. I'm sorry, but Bangers was an album. You don't have to agree, but Bangers was an album. Miley Cyrus, you're legendary for that. You're legendary for Bangers. I don't care what nobody says. That was a legendary era. That was like the era that Miley really stripped away all that Disney crap and was like, hey, I'm me. And I like what I like up in here, and y'all are mad. My next album on this list is Childish Gambino's Awaken My Love. This album, the first track, Me and Your Mama. This track alone on this album makes this album iconic. Now man, mind you, we still got Redbone, we still got Boogeyman, we still got Have Some Love, we still got Terrified, we still got Standing Tall. But Me and Your Mama, da, 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 da. Legendary, like it's legendary. It's something that you can go back to the next decade and be like, wow, love that. No! My next one on this list, ooh, I got 3 from this one artist because these albums were legendary. The next girl on my list that produced these 3 albums that are legendary is Rihanna. Loud, Unapologetic, and Anti. Can we just start at Loud? That alone, that la da da da, legendary. I want you to love me. What? Like what? Like I'm a hot ride. Baby. And then you wanna go to Unapologetic? Like
shine bright like a diamond.
Legendary. This song was so hood to me and I live for it. Love song, what are you saying? time, bitch. Can we go with the... What? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What I do? Like, you got work. You weren't even that prominent towards the last end of the decade. But the first part of the decade, honey, we were here. We were combined. We were interlocked. We were each other. We played patty cake, Miss Ma'am. Yes. The next album on my list is X by Ed Sheeran. Now, I'm not a big Ed Sheeran fan, but like, of course I know Ed Sheeran and I know his discography well enough to be like, wow, that album was magnificent. I know Photograph, I know Bloodstream, Thinking Out Loud. Anytime I ask someone that loves Ed Sheeran, I'm like, oh my God, what song is that and where did it come from? They be like, it came off the album X. So I was like, yeah, apparently this must be like his staple album. Divide is his staple album, because Divide is like everything. But I'll say X too, but Divide is really good too. The next album off my list is Travis Scott, Astroworld. Baby, when I heard that album last year, I literally was like, what? I knew Travis Scott was very talented, but like, wow. Astroworld was an album. It was a moment in time for me. You got Stargazing, you got Sicko Mode, you got Stop Trying to Be God, No Bystanders, Wake Up, NC-17, Astro Thunder, Can't Say, Who, What, Houston Fornication. Oh, this album was good. This is probably my favorite song of this whole album. I go to it way too much.
You'll be all out of love and yeah. Spending hours on this flight.
Give me go like this. Come on, Travis. I will punch you in the face. I've got to sue. But I can't go to a Travis Scott show. I don't want to be trampled. Y'all be fighting and damn near murdering people out there. And I ain't got time. Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Gold. 24 Karat Gold. Bruno Mars, 24K Magic was literally 24K Magic. It was literally 24. It was just legend. And then you got Versace on the floor, straight up and down. That's what I like. Wait, this album only had 9 songs? Oh, honey, this album was amazing. Like, this album was what it was literally like, wow. Okay, but some of y'all may be mad that I put him on this list, but like, you can't deny the greatness though. Kanye West's Yeezus and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was arguably one of the 2 best albums of this decade. I know I'm saying it. I know it's crazy ass Kanye, but I'm saying it. And especially My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That album to this day, the replay value on that album is like, wow. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy had Gorgeous, Power, All of the Lights, Monster, Hello, Devil in a New Dress, Runaway, Blame Game. This song is still getting used to this day for advertisements. Like, you're making money off this song still, sir. Give it to me like, come on! This could be a beautiful death. I'm jumping out the window. Come on, man. Letting everything go. Oh, a bop. And Yeezus, you got. Here we go. Kanye was the first rapper to me to make a Vogue song like that. That beat was a Vogue beat. Kanye had to have watched a Vogue video on YouTube. It was like, oh, I like that. I'm using that. Hold on. I like that pattern. I'm using that. That pattern is cute. Because even Life of Pablo was a good album. This Jesus is King. I don't know that. I don't know that. I mean, Jesus is king, but like, I don't know Kanye West. I don't know. Some people may not agree with this either, but I really think Tyler the Creator's Igor was like one of the best albums of this decade. Some people may not agree, but I say what I said. Because this, boom, 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 boom. Come like, boom, boom. I think, 4. Skate. New Magic Wand, Running Out of Time, Boy is a Gun, Puppet, Gone, Thank You. One of the best songs on this album, if not the best song on this album. I didn't know Tyler's Creator's discography before this album like that. So this album, I'm a new fan. It made me a new fan. And I think it's because I guess I got to know Tyler through this album, I felt like. And I felt like I got to see the vulnerable side of him, and I liked it. This next artist contribute to this decade like it was somebody's business. Honestly, truly, I think his whole damn career blew up this decade, honestly. Kendrick Lamar's Damn, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. You got Loyalty on Damn, you got Humble on Damn, Pride, Lust, DNA, then you go to Pimp a Butterfly. You got Alright, Mama, Hood Politics, Institutionalized. Now Good Kid, Mad City, I wasn't that deep into, but I do know, of course, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. I know Poetic Justice, of course. Money Trees, Good Kid. That's all I pretty much know. I think I know about Compton a little bit, but not too much. He definitely proved himself as one of the best lyricists and rappers of our time, for sure. Now this album is one of my hood albums, is what I call it. If you was in a hood setting, this album was being played front to back, back to front. And you know what I'm talking about if you a real Future fan. DS2, honey, baby. DS2 by Future was everywhere, baby. This was definitely an album of the decade, for sure.
I just took a piss and I seen Coney coming up.
Stick talk! What?
Talk that stick talk.
What? Ow! This was Future. Oh, Blow a Bag? This album was like your career to me. Your self-titled album is really good too. But DS2, Beast Mode is good too. And What a Time to Be Alive is obviously really, really good. But Future, DS2 was like, that was an album. Yo, Paramore's self-titled album, I think didn't get enough respect. I'm just being honest. Of course you may know the hits, but like if you don't know the whole album, shame on you. Ain't it fun doing what? Living in the real world, yeah. Ow! You went up to my house. Yes! Oh, this album was so good. You got Fast in My Car, you got Now, you got Grow Up, Daydreaming. Even though like I said, you may know the hits, but bitch, get into the whole album. Paramore self-titled was one of the best albums of this decade, for sure. Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer. Girl, an album, honey. Girl, please. I love this album. I played this album out. Like, I think I played this, I played this album out, baby. Here we go, like this. You're so damn electric, you. This album was like the epitome of just feeling black, a feminist, and being the true person that you are, and not giving a care about who and what somebody got to say. This next album was almost a cultural phenomenon. Justin Bieber's Purpose stopped the world. He stopped the world when this song came out. I remember I was like, excuse me? Love Yourself, Company, Sorry, No Pressure, No Sense, The Feeling, Life is Worth Living, Where Are You Now was on this album. Trust, All in It, We Are, like this album, wow, Justin, wow. Purpose was an album, damn near your career. I'm just being honest. Oh, but you have more of a career. Oh, you're just legendary. Speaking of Kanye West too, I also want to put Watch the Throne on there too. Watch the Throne was one of his best albums, and Jay-Z, as Jay-Z had Blueprint 3. Once again, these were good albums. These were a good time. I didn't really dive into them, but I do know that it was a big time. Now, this list is long, so I'm gonna rush through a couple of them, and then I'm gonna highlight some other ones, but these are like other ones I got on here too. I got Miguel Kaleidoscope. I got The Weeknd, House of Balloons. What? Like, hello, come on. I have Frank Ocean, Channel Orange. Like, he could have retired after that album. I'm glad he didn't. I mean, he damn near did because we never see Frank Ocean. That's one of the best albums of this decade, hands down. I got Drake, Take Care. And I even want to add Nothing Was the Same. Nothing Was the Same was one of, that was like, and Views. Views, Nothing Was the Same, and Take Care are my 3 Drake albums that I have to say made this whole decade. Now, y'all already know how I feel about this next artist. Lady Gaga's Born This Way, that was it. That was like this deck, like I came out because of that album, literally. Born This Way and Art Pop was one of the best albums of this decade. And you can say what you want to say about Art Pop, but I will fight. But if you got something wrong to say about Art Pop, we'll fight. We will. And of course, A Star Is Born soundtrack. Now, some of y'all gonna be surprised that I got her on my list of these top albums for me of this decade. But I've gotta give tens where tens are due, and I can't be dishonest. Taylor Swift's 1989, Red, and Reputation were those albums. Taylor, I tip my hat off. I do. I know more than I thought I did. How could I forget? Adele 25 and 21. Adele, when she comes out, everybody go into their house, You close the curtains and you wait for Adele to be done. It's like Hurricane Adele. When she comes through, I'm taking over all the charts, all the record-breaking stuff. That's me. I'm gonna be doing that. Thanks. I have to put this on my list, but SZA Control, of course. I need, like, I wanna bring this back relevant that SZA really got snubbed for that album when it came to awards. Just being honest. Even though she's a new girl, but Billie Eilish, When We Fall Asleep, one of the best albums of the decade because it was so innovative. Bad Guy, Bury Your Friend, Zanny, like that album had so many new facets for me. It was so new, but yet something familiar, but new. Does it make sense? I loved it. I would feel so guilty if I skipped over my good girl Katy Perry. Katy Perry, Teenage Dream, and Prism, albums. Albums, honey. Teenage Dream is like Katy Perry's like heyday. Like that's like Katy Perry. Like that's what you know Katy Perry, like what? Prism, you got Roar, you got Walking on Air, Unconditionally, Dark Horse. When I think about Katy Perry, I think about those two albums immediately. Another new girl, but one of my mains, Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy. Cardi B brought something different to the table for me. As an entertainer, she's an entertainer. Her music was entertaining, the album, the rollout, everything about Invasion of Privacy was beautiful. Definitely a staple in this decade. Now that's what makes it so big for the follow-up because her first debut album was so good that this follow-up album has to be beautiful. I also want to put my girl Solange, I see that the table up in there too. I bumped Solange's I see the table as much as I bumped everyone else on this list. So Solange's I see the table was definitely a staple in this decade for sure. It stood for what I stand for as a black male and it represented me unapologetically. Ariana Grande, Thank You Next. What an album. But also, I want to put My Everything in there. Yeah. I always lean harder to Thank You Next, but I love Sweetener too. Even though Sweetener was a really good pop album, Thank You Next was like, wow, thank you for this. I think My Everything doesn't get like the praise it deserves. If you want to go check out My Everything on your own time, go do it, I suggest. It proves that Ariana Grande knew how to make a bop and always knew how to make a bop way before she blew up, before like the Sweetener and Thank You Next era, or Dangerous Woman era even. And I think that people should really look into it to really understand Ariana Grande. And last, but certainly not least, who my last one? If y'all know me, who was my last one? Like of course. Beyonce, Lemonade, 4, and Beyonce Self-Titled. Are those 3 albums. I would put I Am Sasha Fierce too, but I think that technically released in like 2008, but like she was still promoting it and still performing in 2009 at the VMAs and other award shows. So like I could almost put I Am Sasha Fierce in that too. Beyonce, you know who you are. I'm not even going, If you wanna know who Beyonce is, if you really wanna get into the gig, listen to those albums and you will understand between Lemonade, 4, and Self-Titled, you'll be like, wow, she's grown. She is, wow, okay girl. All right, Tiredness Army, I'm tired of talking, my mouth hurts at this point. I feel like I've been talking for too long. These albums are my albums of the decade. What are your albums of the decade? List them below in the comments. And let me know if I missed an album, because I could have. Oh, you know I'm always missing somebody. All right, Tiredness Army, I love you guys watching as always, and I will catch you guys, well, tomorrow, because it's a Reactmas, and I'm always here, goo. But where you going? I got some more videos for you to watch. I feel like you gotta catch up. I feel like you got some things you need to watch, honey, girl.